Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Bismillah. I know I haven't been broadcasting for a couple of days, but that's because I've also been preparing some other projects correlated to studies of the scriptures. That's what I've been busy with, and I'm actually working on a project as of now, so I have to do a lot of research and kind of put it down on paper so I can make a layout for it. Don't want to talk too much about it because the more I get into it I feel like I'll just jinx it, so I don't want to talk about that. But the last we left off at was that there was some really strange incident, and then it's almost like not broadcasting almost comes out as if, something had happened to me. No, that's the only reason why I decided to come back at least sooner than I had really expected to come on and broadcast. I'm okay. I'm alright. Could be better though. Alhamdulillah. Alright, so I wanted to make this broadcast earlier, and the reason why I'm making these broadcasts is because I'm documenting them, so I have them somewhere in sequential order, even if it's not titled as of yet. Some of the videos aren't really, I haven't been able to kind of title them. I've just been trying to gather up the research that I had done before, so I haven't been able to kind of, like I said, fix the titles of the videos to let you know which broadcast is about what. But hopefully soon I'll have everything organized. I'm just talking about broadcasts, nothing else, to clarify. As soon as I can get a hold of that. Anyhow, so today it's gonna be a really funny question. Rather, it's a question of which one came first, the egg or the chicken or the egg. It's a very famous question that used to also be a joke, like when you read about jokes and stuff, they have the knock jokes, and then they have like all these other silly things, like kind of like riddles rather instead of jokes, I guess. And in it, when, I guess, if you're a child and you grow up in the States, you've definitely at least heard this once, at least in your school life, okay? And probably in elementary or something, you've heard this where, they talk about, okay, which one came first, the chicken or the egg? So I guess when you come into the ilm from the Quran or the Bible, or what's it called, the scriptures in general, but the Quran to clarify it, is the best word to clarify it with. You understand. I'm sorry, I'm speaking really slow today. I'm like in slow motion for you. But anyhow, I might have to redo this broadcast, but that's okay. So basically, what it is that wow, where did I leave off a chicken or the egg, right? So once you come into Islam, you realize that Adam and his wife were created first. So they were the full formed versions of creation. The child didn't come first, right? As in, like, they weren't in child form, okay? They weren't in like a baby or a fetus form, okay? Well, to the best of the understanding of the ayats, they were not in a fetus form. And you understand that Adam and his wife were created in full forms. And then the little eggies came, right? The offspring. So if you look at it in that manner, we would understand that, obviously, the chicken would have come first, or the dinosaur would have come first, whichever example you want to use. And not only that, we understand that in the Quran, we understand that all the animals were created first, right? The wild animals, and then this animal and that animal. But it doesn't go on to say that the eggs were created and then they were hatched or something of that sort, right? It wouldn't really make sense. You'd probably want to create something first and then replicate it. And that's exactly what God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, goes on to say. That a creation is originated and then after that it's replicated or reproduced. So it's first produced and then it's reproduced. Okay, so of course there you have it. You have the dinosaur first, and then you have the chicken first, then you have the eggs. Okay, so alright. For a man, right? For a man, when you hear these type of words coming from a man's mouth, you ever wondered, and this is something probably, I think, if any husband or a wife has ever gotten into a fight with their spouse, maybe things were thrown across the table, right? In the sense that sometimes, right, they'll get to that point where the one spouse will go ahead and say something about the other spouse's family, okay? And then the other spouse will go ahead and say something else about the other, your spouse's family. So for a woman, it's not that detrimental to her, because she knows that her family is her husband. But the chances of the man thinking in that manner are very less. I've noticed this on a very wide scale in general. These are the things that I've seen in statistics, I've picked up in research, and also from many personal experience. Men have a tendency to not consider their wife and their children as family first. The family, for example, if a woman says something, in general, it doesn't have to be the most detrimental thing, but if a woman says something about her spouse's family member, it could be something very small or it could be something very, very grand, right? Even in the smallest manner, if something is said, immediately what the man goes out to do and say is, oh, that's my family. That's my family. So to a lot of men in general, they will always go on and say, oh, that's my family. But whereas, here's the most hysterical part, because I will solidify it with the truth. Who is your family? Who was Adam alayhi salam's family? Who was created for Adam alayhi salam? Who is, or what is Iblis or Shayateen the happiest over? What is he the most happiest over? Is he the happiest when you don't talk to your parents? Or what is the most evident thing warned about clearly that Iblis goes on to do. He goes on to do and gets happiest when a husband and a wife break apart. That's when he's happiest. It's mentioned in the Quran. What do the shayateen learn? In the Quran, when it's openly mentioned about magic or about pretty much anything that's one of the worst types of things in the Quran, who does it affect? Firstly, a husband and a wife. Husband and a wife. And who was Adam's family? It was his wife. Did they have parents before that? Did Adam or his wife have any parents? No. But does it mean that your parents are not part of your life and the love of your life? No, that's not true either. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave so much respect to the parents. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam as the first insana, then a spouse for him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't create parents for them, but created Adam and his wife first, then made them become parents and to have offspring. What is the most valuable thing to a wife or a husband that should be in this dunya after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Should it be your children? Should it be your parents? What should it be? It should be your spouse. Why? Because you only spend a portion of your life with your parents. The remainder of that lifetime you spend with your spouse. And your children also spend a portion of their life with you. They too move on. You move on from your parents. You make your own wife or husband in life. And when your kids are in this dunya, they make their lives and they move on. So what do you have? Hopefully, assumingly, till your end, if your appointed time doesn't come too quickly. You have your pair, your spouse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created pairs to fall in love, for us to fall in love. It clearly says that we were matched accordingly to, I guess, natures or something, right? Something. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew exactly how we were going to be in the future. He knew everything. Now, as far as everyone's situation, I don't know how that works, and I'm not going to get into it in terms of the examples of Prophet. You know, I was going to use the example of Prophet Lut alayhi salam, but then the description for when the two hosts come and Lut alayhi salam is mentioned, the mention of the people that were going to be saved with him, when the woman individual was described that wasn't saved, when he was told that we're going to save everyone in his family, we'll save everyone but the old woman. Now, if that old woman is relating to his wife or some grandmother or some, I don't know, other woman, excuse me. So, I guess I can't, or I really don't understand if I should use that in the context of how we're matched accordingly prior to, or if we come into this dunya and we find our own partners. That's a very detailed topic which I'll get into at some point. But like I said, there's a system that we need to break down in order for us to understand, or we need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us clarity on what the system really is. So at some point when we do go through this series and talk about marriage and the ayats for it in the Quran, we'll go on to see that. But as of now, know that your family, your first family, is your spouse or spouses. Like if you're a man and, or if you're a woman, and when someone utters the word your family, the funniest part is you're fighting or you're arguing or disputing. For example, a husband and a wife are disputing, and the man goes on to say, that's my family you're talking about, right? Just an example. Funniest part is your family is right in front of you. You understand? Your family is right in front of you. You're disputing over people that have their own lives already. Your mother and father, or your father and mother, they're a couple too. They have their own life. You don't go in and see them disputing about, you guys as in your children, right? Child and as a child and their wife, or the wife and their husband. Hopefully they're not the type of people to talk about their kids and their spouses in a bad manner, because if they do, at any point, if they speak any bad things about, their spouses, their children's spouses, then that means there's something seriously wrong with them. They're a part of the shayateen, which I'll go on to obviously describe later. It's that there are shayateen amongst the humans, not only the jinns. The devils are among the jinns and the humans, both. You will see them in the flesh. But going back, what I'm trying to really say is that the person who is your family is right before you and your family to each other. There should be no disputing at all. Unless you don't consider that to be true, then Allahu Alam. But we know that this much is truth. That Adam and his spouse were first family to each other. That the Quran goes on to say that the hasad, the envy in Iblis, magic and jinn and whether you call it shayateen, everybody's after, first and foremost, what? The spouses, the husband and the wife. It's written in the Quran. So to you, your greatest asset in a way really, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the ilm and everything that constitutes in it, is your partner. It's your life partner. That's all you got. I was used to hear one thing. Growing up, I used to hear something called, there's a story, that we heard about this couple, and the couple would always used to complain about each other, and they would go on to say something like, like the man would say about the woman, and they're married, but I'm just saying the man would go on and say about the woman, but this wasn't working out because the wife is going east and I'm going west, and then the wife will be like, no, he's going east and I'm going west, and they're going in different directions in terms of what is susceptibly okay to teach the children, or for their lives as well, like their choices and everything. So let's just say if the child goes up to dad, and dad says, okay, he goes like, okay, he wants to go out to the movies tonight instead of, preparing for his exam. So the father will go on and say, no, you cannot go. But then the child goes back to the mom, and the mom says, dad said no to me, but mom, please, please, please. And then the mom says yes, and then boom. That's that right there is basically what I would have understood it for it to be. The east, the directions directions in different directions. So how does a husband and a wife really attain the same common goals and the same pathway and the same path? How do they do that? From sometimes disagreeing with each other, or sometimes how do you get to have peace in terms of being a married couple, and also how do you get to have peace in terms of not only being a married couple, but in terms of raising your children? How? It's pretty simple. Because one spouse, let's just say it's man, will follow their own ego. Okay. Well, just like that, the wife also, not saying all, but majority, will also follow her own ego, thinking what she thinks is okay, what's fine, or going with her emotions or sentiments Because women really think on emotions and sentiments, right? And so the man will think no, and the woman will think yes. So each one is following what? His own belief, his own understanding, his own ego, his own self-glory of its own self-built conscious. So how do you get both of these two people to agree? Guess what? How? Okay. This is how you do it. When both parties no longer are letting themselves each lead, so the man is not letting himself lead in what he thinks is right, and when the woman herself doesn't lead and doesn't do what she thinks it's right. So if they're not listening to their own selves or each other, who the hell are they going to listen to? God. Allah. Ilah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set up a guideline in the Quran. And if you follow this guideline and both of you put this over your own, what you think is right and what you think is wrong, then not only will you be able to raise your children, but you would have also been able to, or will be able to, sustain as a couple, as a married couple, or whatever, right? So, if no one is thinking of what their own ego thinks, and rather above that, what God thinks is right and what God thinks is wrong, then both husband and wife will be following God's way or guidance. And since both of them are following it, they're doing the same thing. Probably at different speeds, but they're doing the same thing. It's no longer a yes or a no. They're together and making their decision based on what God told them. So if God said, for example, the children want to go out to the movies, they want to go out to the movies, and let's just say the child wanted to watch I'm so terrible at making examples. Give me a second, hold on. Okay. The child wanted to watch the child wanted to probably watch a non-PG-13 movie, supposed to say, right? And they are, they're 10, okay? They're 10, they're 9, 10, whatever, right? So, it's a non-PG-13 movie, and let's just say it's a violent film. It's like something like, I don't know, let's see, what's a terrible movie for like children to watch, or like kids? Man, I can't even think of any films. I don't even remember anything when it comes to entertainment. I don't remember nothing. This is crazy. I spent most of my life in it. Whatever. Let's just say it's one of those really like really violent type of films, right? And it contains, okay, it's one of those, it's like a race car type of movie, but it has a lot of... Oh, perfect example. Perfect example. Your kid's 10 years old and they got a friend of theirs that wants to go ahead and watch the film Wolf of Wall Street. Worst example, but also a good example. Okay, let's just say that's the case, right? They want to watch Wolf of Wall Street. Sure as heck that's not a PG-13 film. Sure as heck, even if you're freaking 20... Excuse me. I gotta get comfortable. I'm sorry, I'm like in the middle of a podcast and I'm like thinking about getting underneath my sheets. I'm couching it, man. Alright. Okay. So, let's just say they wanted to watch, what is it called? The Wolf of Wall Street. I'm gonna take a nappy while I broadcast. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take a nappy time. And I gotta wake up for Tajud. Anyways, no, I pray Tajud. What am I talking about? So now that kid is 10 years old and they want to watch Wolf of Wall Street. And you sure as heck know I'm 28, like, just letting you know, I'm 28, and I myself cannot even freaking watch Wolf of Wall Street, as weird as I am, without literally closing my eyes, at times. That's how guilty and shameful I feel. Like, I only watched it once, because everybody's like, oh, Leonardo DiCaprio's in it, you know. And I was like, alright, you know, he makes alright movies, so let's give it a shot. And it was probably also one of those movies that, you know, a lot of people have watched in general. So, OMG. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible only because it's, in a way, it's probably real in the sense that Wall Street does have that type of lifestyle and such like that, because it's real. What am I talking about? I just remembered something. It is very real. That type of lifestyle does exist. Anyhow. But now the father says, okay, you know, yeah, you could go ahead, you can watch, you know, Wolf of Wall Street sounds pretty cool, you know. Dad's like down. Dad has no idea still. Dad doesn't know what the hell's going on, right? Dad doesn't know what the hell's going on. Dad doesn't know what's in that movie. The kid probably doesn't even know what's in that movie, right? His friend, whatever that's taking him to the movies, is probably all like freaking excited and shit. Probably saw some trailer and was like, oh shit, this is probably like my first time that I'm gonna be able to watch watch something, you know, like rated very bad, like to the worst, right? Rated to the worst, like on big screen. Yeah, like, you know, this is the first time I could do that. Right? But the poor kid that just wanted to ask the dad has no freaking idea what he's about to get himself into, right? He's about to sin with his eyes. And his ears. Okay. And now dad doesn't know whatever. Dad's not going to go to the movies with, you know, kids. Right? But although kids should really always be chaperoned, I'm not even kidding. And the mom is like, mom doesn't even want to let go of the kid. Mom is like, nope, you know. So, what happens in that situation? In that situation, you're just thinking of what you think is right. You're not questioning it. questioning it. You're not really looking deep into it. You're not asking these questions of who, what, where, when, why, how. And these are very, very important questions. These are extremely important questions to ask. You should be asking these questions. Every parent should be asking these questions. Who are you going with? What are you going to go see? Okay. When are you going? When are you coming back? How are you going? How are you coming back? Why are you even going? Like, don't you have anything better to do? You know? Or, moreover, can I come with you? You understand? So now, let's just say they obviously are the parents that should be in the mind of the likeness of, in the manner that God wanted us to be. So then when they find out what is the movie, they should be obviously watching a trailer and they automatically figure it out. They're not dumb. They're parents. They've been through it all. Right? They've been through it all. Heck, they made you guys, you know? You can't, in terms of like not physically created you, but in the sense that, you know, they had you. So you can't get out of that PG-13 rating on that one, right? Can't do that. Can't get out of that one. So what exactly happens? So now if God is in charge of it, obviously you already know that God said you cannot be involved with fahisha and immoralities. So now that you know what the content is, both of you, as a husband and a wife, already know that that's a no-no. Under no circumstances, that is a no. Is it going to be the end of the world for them? For them, in their limited mind, yeah. But is it worth saying no for them to be, whatever, saddened, angry, whatever? Then that end of the world, you're saving, well, not technically saving, but you're at least giving them the strong foundations for them to avoid to the best of their manner in terms of that end of the world situation. Heck yeah. So at that point, both parents, obviously, they know they're not supposed to go ahead and let their child watch that type of content, right? So obviously both parents disagree, and they should stick by each other with that decision. So no parent should be able to tell, the child, okay, or feel bad because of their emotions or this, that, and third. No, because you have God over you. You have God over you. Both parents should be lovingly sticking by each other. Tell Shaitan, Iblis, to go screw himself. Because I'm not even kidding. He is an open enemy to you. So straight up, go screw himself. There's no other way to say it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Iblis is an open enemy, as God said, and he is going to take majority of the insan to Jahannam. And yes, no, all of it, not majority of it, is also your fault. you are also inclined to it. You will be responsible for it. So I'm not going to go ahead and sugarcoat saying, I'm going to go ahead and tell him that yes, you are the reason why everybody is going to be cursing at each other. Those whom will be entering Jahannam. Okay? That doesn't disclude me out of it. I'm just saying that this is the case. If you think what I just said is, go screw yourself is a bad word, you have no idea what people will be saying to Iblis on that day. What type of language will be coming out for Iblis on that day? You have no idea. And moreover, if you come across that are people that are Iblis literally in this dunya, I hope you never came across anyone. But if they're like oppressors in this dunya, then you sure as heck need to kick that person and tell them, not kick them like physically kick them, but tell them to go screw themselves and get them out of your life. Run. Run. Because people are amongst mankind, they're also Iblises as well, or Shayateen. I kid you not. So, anyhow, long story short, the parents, right, they pretty much become, in sync, in synchronization together. Okay. And thus, when you agree on the same thing, you don't disagree, you're happy. Both of you are happy. If you have things planned out, you guys discuss things, like you openly discuss things and you don't try to, discussions are good. They're great. Communication is awesome. Communication is love. There's no communication. There's no love. There's no love if there's no communication. If you guys are just together to be together and married and just have kids, that's about it, That sucks. There should be communication, but the communication should be meaningful. It should be healthy. It should not be intentfully ever negative. Anything that comes out of your mouth, and what I mean by negative, I don't mean like negative as in like if they're literally like Iblis and they're trying to oppress you and all that crap like that. No. Don't tolerate that shit, because that shit will take you to hell. That type of person will take you to hell. I'm not saying that. What I meant to say is, if you are a partner whom is negative, okay, a lot of times you don't have nothing nice to say at all to your partner. You're always poking them. Funny thing is, you're probably not even going to realize that you're doing that. Why? Because if that realization was ever within you, you probably wouldn't be doing that. And even if you, did know that you're not supposed to behave like this and you're still doing it, well, guess what? Over you is God. Allahu Alam. In the sense that, what is one of the things that are disliked? Falsehood. If you know you care about your wife or your husband or your love, whatever, right? You wouldn't want to hurt them. So, it's not even in a joke. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not pleased by that either. You understand? Why? Why would you do something that can only lead into a huge mess? Okay. Why would you do that? Okay. Alright, I'm like literally knocking out, so I'm totally not gonna finish this broadcast with anything else. I had a huge list of topics I had written down, but I'm just gonna keep it at that. But anyhow, so what I'm trying to say is that I don't even know where I left off at. I'm so sorry. Today is just not my day. Oh, right. If both parents are not on the same page with also respectful words when they converse with each other, if there's no possibility, if there's no positivity, as in if you're not seeing good things out of your mouth, like not to hurt someone, okay, then that's a huge problem. A huge problem. Well, it's a huge problem if something bad happens, right? But even then, if nothing bad happens, you wouldn't know, right? Okay. Anyways, looks like I'm dozing off, so I'm gonna have to sort this broadcast out at some point. As in, I'll either do it in the morning or I'll do it when I get time, but that's what that is, and I'll continue later. I'm just falling asleep right now. I'm sorry. I've never done this, like falling asleep on like a live conversation. Alright. Anyhow, I'll talk about this tomorrow. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide and inshallah protect all of you. Okay. That's so funny. I can't believe I dozed off, like literally in what? Okay. Serious problem. I shall delete this and then have it re-recorded at some point. Anyhow. Wow, we have a lot of things to talk about. Okay, so we'll cover one by one in each video, or I don't know how that's gonna work out, but that's that. And then I'll talk to you folks tomorrow. Bye bye.